Hi guys, my name's Miss Sarah. I teach social studies for first and second grade at Logos. So today we're going to go over rules and responsibilities of home, school, and community. So that's one of the topics that I was going to be teaching in my campus class this quarter. So I thought that would be a good one to go over on the video for you guys. Okay, so we're going to start with rules. I'm going to write that at the top. Okay, so rules, and we're going to talk about rules for home, school, and community. Okay, so we have rules, and then after that, we're also going to talk a little bit about responsibilities and kind of the difference between the two. So, rules at home. Go ahead and see if you can think of any rules that you know that you have at home. And if you want to pause the video and talk about it with somebody, you can do that. And then we'll kind of compare and see if I have some of the same rules as you do, or maybe you have some different ones than me. Okay, so I'm going to start with just writing down some of the rules that we might have at home. So, one of the rules could be to do your chores. That could look different for everybody. Maybe your chore is to wash dishes, or maybe your chore is to put away your toys, or something like that. Another rule that maybe you have in your house is to be honest. So if that's one of your rules, you could write that too. So to be honest is to tell the truth. So not telling lies or anything like that. So you have chores. To be honest is another rule. Maybe also a rule in your house could be to be respectful. So these are all things that are expected of us, right? So these are all things that we're told that we need to do. We need to do our chores, we need to be honest, and we need to be respectful. Okay, so then I'm going to switch over to responsibilities for school. So same thing, if you want to pause the video and talk to somebody about it, you can talk to them about what the rules at school are, or some that you know of, or maybe some rules even that would be good to have, maybe that you don't know if are in place. Okay, so one of them could be to clean up. I know that's one of my rules in my classroom, is that at the end of class, we all spend just a couple minutes picking up 5 things that we find, whether it's 5 pencils that were on the table, or a pair of scissors and a pencil and 3 other things that you can find. Or maybe you're looking on the ground and you're picking up 5 little pieces of trash. That's my favorite one, because often when everyone decides to do that one, by just a few minutes of everyone picking up 5 things, our classroom looks beautiful, and the floor is all clean. So that's one of my rules, is that everyone's responsible for cleaning up. Okay, so then the next one that I had written down was to keep your hands to yourself. That's a big rule in my classroom as well. Because I know students are never trying to hurt each other. Really, they're just playing. But often, sometimes, we forget that we're being kind of rough. And so, if we have our hands on somebody, maybe you're tapping them on the shoulder or doing something like that, maybe it can hurt that person. So, one of my big rules is just keep your hands to yourself. If you want to get their attention, then you use your words, or use their name to get their attention. Okay, and then another one is use kind words. That one's really important to me too, because the way that we say things is really important. So I'm often wanting people to say, like, if we're working on something and something's easy for one student, it might not be easy for everybody else. So I'm not a big fan of when someone says, "Oh, this is so easy," because it might hurt someone else's feelings. Or maybe if you say something like, "I can't believe you don't know that," then that might hurt someone's feelings because they feel like they should know it. But I always talk to my students about how we're all so brilliant in so many different ways, right? But we're not going to know everything. So there's sometimes things even in class, little facts or things like that that I've forgotten that I'll ask you guys about. And my students are always very good about using kind words and helping us figure things out together as a group rather than saying, "Oh, it's so easy. Why don't you know? Why don't you know that?" Okay, so then community is the next one that we're going to talk about. So we do also have rules in our community, of course. One of the important ones is not to litter. And littering means to drop trash on the ground rather than putting it in a trash can. So I'm going to write don't litter or no littering. Okay. No littering. And that one, of course, is just important because we want to keep our earth clean, right? We don't want to walk down the street and see trash everywhere. That's pretty yucky, and it's not meant to be there, so it's not good for our environment. So making sure that you're picking up your own trash. Okay. And then another one, and I'm going to use this one again. I know we talked about honest. I'm also going to end kindness. I'm going to use kind again. Be kind. It's always making sure that you're being kind to other people. You don't know if they were having a good day or a bad day, and so it's always just important to be nice to others. Okay, and then another one that's really important is looking both ways before you cross the street. That's probably a really common rule that you've heard before. So before you cross the street, you stop and you look one way and then you look the other way, and maybe even do it again. Make sure that there's no cars coming or anything like that before you cross the street. So that's an important rule. I'm going to write safe crossing. Writing on these boards is a little hard for me to keep things straight, so they kind of slant, but that's okay. Hopefully you can still see it. Okay, so we have rules at home, at school, and in our community, and rules are meant to keep us safe and to keep people happy. And so what I want us to do now is I want you to draw a picture of yourself or write a sentence. We'll do that for both rules and responsibility. So maybe it's best to write a sentence for this one if you'd like to do that. Writing about why you're glad we have one of these rules. So if you want to pause it and take a second to do that, you can do that. I think I'm going to write one, and I'm going to write one about one of these rules and why I'm thankful that we have that rule. So I think I'm going to choose no littering. I like that one. So I am thankful for the no littering rule because it helps keep our earth clean. Okay. Oh, I forgot a letter there. Thankful. Okay. So I wrote, I am thankful for the no littering rule because it helps keep our earth clean. So I'm really thankful that we have that rule for that reason. Okay, so then the next one that we're going to do is responsibilities. And I'm going to write that down here. I'm going to get a little bit lower so I can write it on the board. Okay, so we have different responsibilities at home. So these are the things that we ourselves are responsible for. Of course, we have rules. These are the things that we should follow. And then we have responsibilities, the things that we are responsible for doing. So for home, one of the ones for home could be cleaning up after ourselves. So one of our rules is to do our chores, but we really are responsible for doing that. We're responsible for doing our chores and cleaning up after ourselves, and it's important that we do those things. So I'm going to write cleaning up. And then another one is, I know we talked about honesty and respectfulness. So another one that we could talk about too for responsibility is, one of our responsibilities is to be a trustworthy person. So of course we may have the rule to be honest, but it's up to us to choose to be that way. It's up to us to choose to be a person that other people can trust. And so that's by telling the truth, or maybe if we had told a lie, understanding that it's really important that we go up to that person and we tell them the truth, and we tell them what, like that we're sorry and all of that, and making them know that we are someone that they can trust. That is up to us. Those choices that we make. So I'm going to write trustworthy on there too. Okay. So now for school. Okay. So for school, again, we have responsibilities as well as rules. One of our responsibilities is, even though we say to use kind words in our rules, it is up to us to be kind to other people. So we're going to say be kind. Okay, so school, we are working on being kind. Of course, everywhere we're working on being kind, right? But especially at school, to our friends, we make sure that we're using kind words and we're making others feel happy. Okay, and then another one at school would be to respect supplies. So being respectful to our school supplies is one that I talk to people about in class a lot, and most students are very, very good at that. I know sometimes if we have crayons out, sometimes if we're listening or we're talking or something like that, we start to play with the crayons and start like peeling off the wrapper, or playing with the crayon and it breaks. And so we're just trying to pay more attention to what we're doing with those supplies, and that we're respecting them, or that we're using them the way that they're supposed to be used. So also, like with scissors, not just cutting paper to cut paper, only using scissors when we're supposed to be using them. So respecting supplies, that could also kind of be a rule, but it's also something that you're responsible for, right? You are responsible for actually doing that, actually being respectful to the supplies. So I'm just going to write respectful down here. Okay. Then the last one's community. Okay. So in our community, another thing that we are responsible for would be picking up after ourselves. One of our rules was no littering. So our responsibility, the thing we're responsible for, is to actually do that, to pick up after ourselves. Okay. Pick up. Okay. And then another one is to keep yourself safe and to keep others safe. You're responsible for doing that. And ways you can do that is by safely crossing the street. You're keeping yourself safe. You're keeping others safe as well. And then just looking out for other people, things like that. Maybe when you're at the park, you're playing very carefully on the slides or the swings, or if someone's swinging on the playground, then you're watching as you're walking by, making sure you're not walking right in front of someone who's swinging, because maybe they try to stop and they get hurt, or they bump into you and that hurts. And so we're just trying to keep ourselves and others safe. So I'm going to write that. Keep ourselves and others safe. Okay. So now what we'll do is we will just, if you have a piece of paper that you can use, you can do that. I'm going to tip this down just a little bit so you can see the bottom of the board. It's blank right now, but we're going to do something at the bottom. Okay, so if you do have a piece of paper that you're writing on, maybe you've written some of these down, which would be great. If you didn't, that's fine. Maybe the page where you wrote what you're thankful for our rules. Next, we're going to draw a picture of ourselves and one of the responsibilities that we know that we have that we follow. Sorry, give me 1 second. My phone was ringing. I had to shut that off. Okay, so I'm going to draw a quick little picture of myself with one of these responsibilities that I follow. Let's see. Maybe I will draw, and yours can be as detailed as possible. I just don't want you to have to watch me draw a big picture, but I'm going to draw a picture of me. It's a stick figure. Okay. And then someone else. And another person. Okay. And then I'm going to, oops. And then I'm going to draw some hearts. And that's going to be me giving kindness and happiness to other people. And so that's one of my responsibilities. I'm responsible for how I make other people feel, right? And so I want to make other people feel happy. And I want to make other people feel important. So I'm going to color in these hearts red because I like them when they're red like that. Ah. So there's me. You can kind of see it. I tip that down just a little more. There's me, and there's all these hearts. So all the kindness I'm trying to give to other people. Okay, so thank you for listening, and thank you for following along in this lesson. I'm talking about the different rules and responsibilities in our home, at school, and in our community. And I'm sure that you guys are following plenty of these rules and that you guys are being responsible and following different responsibilities. Everyone I see at Logos is always so kind and thoughtful to each other. And so I have no doubt that you guys are following these, but now you kind of know the difference between rules and responsibilities. And then hopefully now you have a little sentence about why you're thankful for some of these rules, and then a picture about one of the responsibilities that you know that you have that you follow. Okay, thank you. Bye.